This is Panama in Central America. It is July 2001, 2 months before the bombing of the World Trade Center in New York. An intense 8-day Islamic youth program in the mountains of Panama has brought young Spanish-speaking Latino Muslims from all parts of Latin America. This is their first challenge away from home. They come from Mexico, Guatemala, Peru, Honduras, Belize, Bolivia, Ecuador, Salvador, Colombia, and from Panama itself. It is summer in Central America, and the Latino Muslim youth would have preferred to be having some fun under the sun. But they come to learn about Islam, a faith that appeared strange in their respective countries, and which today seems even more stranger after September 11, 2001. Most of these youths are children of immigrant Muslims who migrated to Latin America decades ago. Some are from the indigenous peoples of Latin America. The Islamic program, taught by educated Muslim scholars from Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Panama, Mexico, and Ecuador, is one of the first of its kind to come to Latin America. This is their story. The towering minaret of this mosque in the countryside of Cherokee, Panama, is an instant reminder that Islam exists here. Though quite tucked away and quietly obvious, the mezquita, as a mosque is called in Spanish, and its majestic appearance, glorifies the Lord of the Panamanian sky. It is built by Arab Muslims, most of them merchants, who has contributing in spreading Islam here, along with the Indian Muslims from India, who came to work on the building of the Panama Canal. Both have brought Islam to Central America through business and trade. Enthusiasm is high among the Muslim youth on the first day of the conference. They have traveled from far and near to come here to learn and to connect. Some of them are new converts to Islam, and this opportunity will help them to develop themselves in their newfound faith. Presented in their native Spanish language, the lectures are enjoyable and affords them great comfort. This program, the first Latin American Islamic youth program, is sponsored by grants from Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia to educate Muslim youth in Spanish-speaking countries about the fundamentals of Islam. Islamic scholars come from Panama City, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Mexico, and Bolivia to teach basic understanding of the 5 pillars of Islam like Salah, establishing the 5 daily prayers in Islam, Iman, building a strong faith in God, Zakah, giving charity to the poor and needy, Hajj, making the pilgrimage to Mecca in Saudi Arabia once in a Muslim's lifetime, and so on, fasting in the holy month of Ramadan. Concealed inside the mosque's walls is the masala, which is the Arabic word for a mosque that has sleeping and eating areas. The visiting Muslim delegation is housed here. This is where the Muslim youth will rest and sleep after 8 daily grinding sessions of Islamic education. The floors and walls are visible with the load of these travelers who have come prepared for this intense crash course in Islam. Everywhere in this room are beds, suitcases, and clothing for the male Muslim youth. Its scattered display is reminiscent of a young man away from home. Rising for the first day of the lecture sessions, the floor of the mosque is lined with Muslim students ready for a thorough lesson. The voice of their teacher can be heard with song energy as it resonates across the acoustic of the open room. They appear ready for the thought-provoking drilling that is to come. Many thought-provoking questions are probing their minds. But here at this summer camp is where these questions will be answered. Questions and answers which can help them to dispel the misconceptions of their religion. The propaganda war that has been launched for centuries against Islam, the stereotyping of their fate in the Western media and in their countries, and the negative light in which it is presented too many times. The visiting Islamic scholars from Egypt and Saudi Arabia present their talks in Arabic only. The Arabic is translated to Spanish by a translator seen here to the left of the Muslim scholars. The translator is a Muslim of Arab heritage from Bolivia. He speaks both Arabic and Spanish fluently. Most Muslim immigrants to foreign countries learn the language of the people where they migrate. This is the reason why Islam was spread to many parts of the world through business and trade. To do business in a foreign country, one has to learn the language of the people. Many Arab, Indian, Pakistani, and African Muslim businessmen have mastered this skill. This Muslim lecturer of Arab heritage is from Guatemala. His presentations is in fluent Spanish. He will not need the translator. This makes it easier on the predominantly Spanish-speaking students at the conference because there is no break for translation in his talk. The Bolivian Muslim lecturer presents his talk in Spanish only. The Arabic translator will translate some of his presentation from Spanish to Arabic to accommodate the visiting Muslim scholars from Saudi Arabia and Egypt. The renowned Afro-Panamanian Islamic scholar, Dr. Muhammad Kabir, is one of the prominent lecturers at the conference. He lectures in Spanish, Arabic, and English, and presents his talk here in Spanish. This is Imam Omar Wesson, the Islamic lecturer from Mexico City. He makes his presentation here in Spanish. He also speaks Arabic and English and will not need the translator. The Islamic group study sessions are an important part of this first Islamic youth camp. It comes immediately after the Islamic lecturers make their presentations. The Muslim students are organized in groups and are seated across the floor of the spacious masjid. Each group is taught by one of the visiting and local Islamic lecturers. The topics range from practicing the proper procedures of doing prayer to identifying the spiritual concepts of faith, from carrying out the proper aspects of fasting to understanding the principles of giving charity, and from learning about the rites of making the Islamic pilgrimage to understanding all the basic fundamentals of Islam. Many challenges are confronting the Muslims here because most of them are not Arabic speakers. Arabic pronunciation is highly important in learning how to recite the verses of the Quran. Mispronouncing words is seen as changing the meaning of the text and therefore changing God's word. But the many similarities between Spanish and Arabic are helping the Spanish-speaking Latin American Muslims to cope. The battle is tireless and comes with a lot of focus and practice. And then the discussions will continue during the day. And there are those whose quest for this kind of knowledge is driven with tough questioning. This student appears to be pressing his case. He demands clear answers to his questions. His passion appears to be a challenge to the Islamic lecturer from Saudi Arabia. But the answers keep coming as the Arabic scholar fires back with eloquence. The battle of the spirit rages for some time, and then there is a break from the intensity of it all. A loving fellowship is developing among the Latino Muslims at the camp. Having experienced the camaraderie during the first few days of the conference, they are beginning to open up to each other, talk to each other, and share the knowledge they brought from their countries with each other. Some of the youngest amongst them are embraced with love and compassion, and the camp has begun to expose its true virtues of Islamic brotherhood.
Entonces nosotros de corazón nos entregaremos a Allah y a hacer la propagación. Porque Allah nos dice, Él ayuda, nos llama su Padre, Él ayuda, yo otra vez tus pies, yo hago que esté firme en lo que hago. Pero Allah no necesita nuestra ayuda. Nosotros necesitamos la ayuda de Allah, pero es misericordia, nos dice a nosotros, yo te ayudo. Si tú me ayudas, yo te hago fuerte, yo te fortalezco y te hago fuerte. Y también Allah nos dice que nosotros que tenemos que ser de un criterio, y el criterio es usar. Allah nos dice, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alif lam mim, zalika al-kitabu la rayba fihi hudan lil-muttaqin. Hudan lil-muttaqin. Desde luego. Y también dice Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la persona que esté en Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, él le da bondades, muchas bondades, de lo que nunca pensaría que saldría estas bondades. Entonces nosotros tenemos que llegar a un mundo que tengamos el paso, seamos aquí para abajo. Dice Allah que las personas de la obra, en la historia, por ejemplo, dice sus sucesores necesitaban, sus profesores del Tribunal de Ciudad Nacional y siguieron los ejercicios y terminaron descarriando. Que los sucedieron porque quisieron a las personas dejaron de pensar. Y porque dejaron de pensar, entonces siguieron normal y terminaron descarriando. Ustedes terminaron saliendo del camino de la verdad. Nosotros podemos observar eso hoy día en nuestra comunidad. Muchos de nosotros hemos dejado el solar. Y al dejar el solar, nos hemos descarriado del camino de la comunidad. Nosotros vamos a vivir animando sin solar. Que el ciudad lo que mantiene esta religión es la oración. Entonces es importante que como creyentes nosotros no seamos desgraciados y dejamos nuestras oraciones. Así que nosotros, cada uno de nosotros que estamos presentes, tenemos la obligación de llegar a nuestros hermanos y hermanas que han dejado el solar. Invitamos a regresar a la oración de Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Invitamos para que ellos puedan regresar y ser recompensados por Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Y esto lo tenemos que hacer con seriedad, porque si no, sería la destrucción de los cristianos de nuestra fe. El profeta Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam dijo: mensaje Muslim en el kitab al-Iman